Welcome to the Invisible Link podcast, a podcast that traces the lines of extraordinary lives. We're joined for this episode by Brad Wesson from Soundworks Touring.
How you going, mate?
Good, mate. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I like to kick off a little bit with a little self-indulgent story about how we first would have crossed paths, and this is probably unbeknownst to yourself, actually.
Okay.
I had a little band back in the day, and we used to rehearse at a little rehearsal place in Osborne Park called Soundworks Rehearsal Studio.
Yeah.
Every Sunday. So I think we got the dicey shift, did we, on the Sundays for the most part?
Sorry about that.
But yeah, we used to make some noise in those rooms back there. That's, I think, probably 2005-ish. Would that be about right?
Yeah, we started, we bought it, I think, I want to say 2003, early 2003.
Yeah.
Then we expanded. We put one up in Joondalup and we sold it off in 2008.
Right.
What was your band?
We went nameless for the most part. Naming a band, what a nightmare, eh?
Yeah.
But we were called Ison. We never did anything beyond
sort
of making noise in those rooms.
Which
is a shame because, I mean, the bands that were in the next room were like miles away and
from the ruins,
and they're playing gigs every weekend.
Yeah, Carnival were pretty staple as well. They're good friends of ours.
Actually, I think the board outside says they're here today.
Oh, right,
One of the rooms. I don't know if they've left that up there from Thursday just to promote it.
I probably just leaves it up there all the time. Just a bit of ad, you know.
I didn't fact check it. Believe it or not, we probably have crossed paths a good 20 odd years ago.
Yeah, right. I loved that. I loved that business. It was great. Yeah.
We enjoyed it. We had a great time there, and it was we put many hours of sweaty, noisy work into those rooms.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, thank you very much. That's kind of it's a big part of where everything kicked off for us. So
I think it was about that time that you started Soundworks Touring as well. You were running them.
Yeah, we were still active in bands up until about 2001. We had a band called Choke that we started in 1995. Dicey and I, grind metal stuff.
Yeah.
And with another mate Gav, and three of us are best mates. We were back then, and we still are to this day. I think Dicey and I have been mates for Warwick High School, 1988. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Someone else can add that up. But it was one of those things where we just, we bought that business because we were rehearsing there, and then it was a rundown piece of shit. And they had those the air conditioning things, and you just had those bins and shit there to catch all the water runoff or the condensation, or whatever it's called. So one day I didn't realise, and I had this Hungry Jack's thing, and I threw it in there thinking it was the bin. And we were rehearsing 3 days in a row, 3 nights a week, to come up to do this final Choke show in 2001. And anyway, the owner, Andrew, he comes in, he goes, "Oh, you guys got so much disrespect for this place, leaving your rubbish in the fucking thing." And I had a go at him, and I was just like, "Man," I said, "fucking you treat this place like a piece of shit." And I just jokingly said, "We should buy it off you." And he just stopped and he goes, "Oh, do you want to make an offer?" And I went, "Maybe I do." And so Dyson drags me out. So he goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I said, "Why don't you fucking buy this place?" And he goes, "Oh, man, I don't know." And he had a little bit of money that he'd come across and stuff, and because he'd sold a lawn mowing business and stuff like that. And, but I went home and said to my wife, we'd just bought a house up in Woodvale and that, when houses were like 180 grand. Stuff.
I bought one last night.
Yeah, right. And,
for a lot more than that.
And I said, "Look, hear me out, babe. Hear me out here." Listen, and we always joke about, my harebrained schemes and stuff like that. And anyway, she goes, "Oh, I don't know. All right, well, this is something you've wanted to do." Because before we got married, I'd been saying to her I'd like to build my own rehearsal studio. And she was always a big champion of that and stuff like that. So it came out, we went in and we just lowballed this guy. And he's like, "Oh, fucking, no, I'm not accepting that." So no one else is making the offer, so we'll just do whatever. And anyway, he rings me back. And anyway, we got onto our accountant and we just handed it over, who's another mate to this day, one of my dearest friends, and we've all been mates since school and that. Says, "Dave, I fucking can deal with this guy." Anyway, Dave's accountancy business at the time was like the size of this. It's a massive fucking 3-story, 40 employees operation now, but it was the size of this little podcast studio. And he's in the toilet and he goes, "I think I've got him, man. I think I've got him for like 30 grand. Like, all right. So
I could have used him last night.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so anyway, the dude rings me. This Andrew guy, he goes, "All right, you fucking got me. All right, I'll fucking sell it to you. And there was some tax reasons that why you had to let it go for that reason.
Yeah.
And anyway, we fucking we took it over, and the first thing we did was go in and blow that much again on it, at least at the time, 30 grand in 2002 or whatever it was. So we recarpeted it, we redid all the PAs and all that, and we had a pretty good reputation with all the metal scene and stuff like that. So we knew that lots of the metal bands would be like, oh, that's Brad and Dicey from fucking Choker got a fucking studio. We should book there. And then other metal bands like, oh, that's the place to be. But at that time, to go back to your original question, we then started to bring over like interstate bands that we really liked. You know, there was Days Ends, there was all that, and the one we were always after was Psychroptic. And eventually, we got Psychroptic over, and became good mates with Dave Haley, who we are now business partners with Soundworks Direct, but that's another story altogether. But it's, Dave just goes, oh, have you guys ever thought about bringing an international band over? You're starting to develop this reputation as, you know, everyone knows that you guys are the ones to speak to for coming over here. And at the time there was, I forget the name of what they were doing, but all the hardcore guys, fucking Mossy and Dave, they were actually starting out doing Parkway Drive and all that sort of stuff, and then these other bands. So there was them doing all the hardcore stuff and us doing this, and it was all happening at Soundworks. And we were like, oh, Dave's like, you know, there's this band called Hate Eternal. It's got Derek Roddy, this amazing drummer, and Eric Rutan, who used to be in Morbid Angel. So I once again went home to my wife and said, hear me out again. I want to fucking burrow against the house to bring out a death metal band. And she went, you know what you're doing?
Your wife's a fucking saint,
which
mate.
I absolutely did not know what I was doing. So, we then bought out Hate Eternal. It made a little bit of money, and we found ourselves accidentally becoming international extreme metal promoters. And at that time, there hadn't... So the late 90s, as you'd be familiar with, the late 90s, metal kind of, like the heavy extreme end took a bit of a nosedive, thanks to new metal and all that sort of stuff, which I'm a fan of a lot of new metal, so I never looked at it that way. I just went, music's music and things go through phases. But things like Cannibal and the Napalm and all that hadn't been to Australia for 10 years. So these guys from Hate Eternal went home and told the Cannibals, the Niles, the Deicides and all that, oh, there's these guys down in Australia. And next thing we knew, we were getting inundated with offers. We were getting hit up by band members like Alex Webster from Cannibal Corpse. When I opened my emails, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right.
He goes, oh, I believe you're the guy to speak to. I'm like, oh, okay. And one thing led to another, and it grew that way. Like, we would still go chasing bands. And then I think 2008, we'd put another rehearsal studio complex, Soundworks, up in Joondalup. And then we sold that off because it was just like, me and my wife actually became ships in the night with her job, and, you know, I was running the studios, doing all the touring and all that stuff as well, and just, something's got to give. So we sold the studios off and pretty much just that's how we became full-time concert touring promoters. And, the rest is what it is, you know, just always chasing bands, chasing tours, chasing money, really, because you need that to come in to sustain the whole thing.
Of course, yeah.
So, but come... by 2008, 9, 10, you know, there was 3 or 4 other people that thought, as happens when you get successful with something, oh, I'll go do that too. But we're still the ones that are here. You know, you got your DALs and all that do a lot of other stuff and various stuff as well. But I'm quite comfortable saying that we are the absolute best at what we do in this country. Like, I don't think anyone else comes close. I'm not saying we're the best promoters in the country, but we are the number one at doing the extreme metal stuff.
So it developed pretty organically then, right?
It really organically.
Do you reckon that's part of the basis of why you've got the longevity and the reputation, and why other people might have come and gone, the fact that it built through you built this network so organically, and obviously there's got to be a level of trust and integrity and all that sort of thing you're operating with over the years. Is that the basis, or am I? Yeah,
that's the large part of it, but also it's the passion. Like, we're all like Dave Haley and I are just passionate as hell about this. Everyone that works with us, for us, around us, including Dicey and all that sort of stuff, like we literally love it. Like, it's work, not a job. If you know what I mean, and none of us mind the work. But it never feels like. I've got to go. Oh, some days are just like, oh, this fucking clown or something like that.
Name names.
No. Or something like that, you know. But that's any vocation,
Yeah, that's
right?
every day for me.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
if it's not every day for you, then that's a win.
Oh, dude, and I would be an absolute like the amount of times I wake up, look, and we work for what we've got and what we've done. Don't worry about that. But I do just sometimes sit outside with my cup of tea and go, life's fucking good.
Yeah, nice.
Like, this is pretty good. But as I say, we've worked for it, and I've always been a risk taker. Yep. I realised early on in my early 20s, I was the shittest employee you could have. Like, remember back then, you could take your 10 days. You got your 10 days sick leave. Like, now you get fucking 50 and you get the other days, you know, you can just go, oh, I don't even want to come in today, or I'm working from home. None of that used to exist. And I used to take like 30 sick days.
You were that guy?
Yeah, I was that fucking guy. Horrible employee. Horrible.
Yeah.
But I realised the only thing I was going to be good at is if I did something for myself.
Yeah.
And it was funny how that worked, because then you go into that and all of a sudden working 12 hours a day on something you love is not like doing 7.5 hours a day.
So the cliche is true. If you do something you love, you'll never work a day.
Yeah. Or you'll work, but it just won't feel like a job, you know, so type thing. So, but yeah, so I do consider myself quite lucky and privileged to have been able to grind this out this way. And, you know, I guess we all should, like any of us that have been, privileged and lucky enough, especially here in Australia and places like this, you know, where you can do it if you can go after it at least. Yeah. You know. So
have you always had that business nous?
Absolutely not. No. As a youngster, like teenager, I come from a military family, so all I wanted to do was be a soldier.
Yeah.
Which I kind of reverted back to that haircut, haven't I? But,
same.
Yeah. So, no, that was my whole angle.
Right.
Was just going to the army, did the whole army cadets thing, and blitzed all that, and you know, used to abseil down the whacker lights and fucking do all the crazy shit you were allowed to get away with back then as an army cadet. Which I look at and go, geez, if my parents were like, oh yeah, we'll just sign off on you, you know, jumping out
sign
of
the death waiver,
or fucking abseiling face first down the whacker lights on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But it was. Yeah, I used to love it, and that's all I wanted to do.
Okay.
But I'd started playing music at the same time, late high school. That's where I met Dicey,
right?
My best mate and tour manager.
Yep.
And you know, it was one of those things where like you had the old, you know, well, not Hessian, but you know those backpacks. So you'd ride on and shit. Yeah, and I was like, oh, you like fucking Metallica and Anthrax as well? Yeah. I've got a guitar. Oh, I've got a bass. You know, well, you should come around. All right, I will.
Perfect.
Like, and rode around like carrying my bass on my old 10-speed racer. Rode around there and we'd play fucking Gunners songs and try some Metallica songs and just butcher them. And that then I realised, oh shit, maybe I like this.
So your interest? So obviously your interest was already in the sort of heavier side of music by that stage of life?
It was going that way. You know, it started off, I think, around... music was always something that fascinated me from a young age. I think when there was a lady lived down the road from us, and she used to work at the old 6pm, which is like Triple M now, the library, and she came home and she goes, oh, I got this album, and she gave me, I've still got it. It's an original copy of Michael Jackson Thriller.
Right.
And that was the first time, like I heard that and just went, fuck.
Yeah,
you know, music rules. But so I got 85. I was in year 7. And I was into things like Run DMC and Madonna. A German friend of mine, Frank, he just moved over to Australia, and his parents were mad into ZZ Top, and I got into ZZ Top, and I still love ZZ. I still love everything I've just mentioned. I still love all those things.
Right.
But yeah, that was it. And I just thought, fuck, how do you do this? You know, fucking music's fucking great. You can just go in your room and put a tape on and forget about everything and all that sort of stuff. Then someone was throwing out some tapes. I was in maybe year 9, so it's like maybe 13, turning 14. Someone goes, oh, here's some tapes. And in amongst that was, a couple of Iron Maiden tapes. And it was just like, oh, fuck, what's this now?
Yeah, portal to a new world.
Yeah, and then, that led into the Metallicas and, you know, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, all that. I loved all the glam stuff. As well. So then it just came to that, and I think by the time I was out, and then I went to the Panteras and all that, and then someone's like, oh, have you heard Cannibal Corpse and Deicide and Morbid Angel? I was like, no. Yeah. And then that just opened up a whole other fucking thing. And then as we were just talking before we started this podcast, you know, got over the the Perth nightclub scene within 6 months. Just thought this is a fucking pile of shit, and walked into an Allegiance gig one day and just went, like you said before, I'm fucking home, man. Like this is me now, like type thing. So yeah, it all came out of that. Was all very organic as well, and one thing just led to another. So and so again, I feel very lucky that's been my path.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then so you and Daisy stuck with the bands from that point.
We did. We did Choke up until 2001.
Okay, yeah.
Me, Dicey and Gav, and we had various drummers and stuff like that. And then after that, he joined Pathogen for a while. I just messed around with a few other guys, just jamming at the Soundworks studios, like before we bought it, that sort of thing. So, just jamming there. And then I was in a band called Lockdown for a while, which I was thinking about that band the other day. I don't even know what you'd call that. Like, it was kind of metal and heavy, and it had Fear Factory elements, and it had Korn elements, and but we could do gigs with metal bands, we could do gigs with hardcore bands or whatever. But it was fun. That was a lot of fun. Did a few shows with Carnival and stuff like that, which was really cool, and we were already mates with those guys by that time. So that was kind of great. And then Dicey started another grime band called Cunt Scrape, and I joined that for a while.
Lots of commercial appeal.
Even in your sort of late 20s, and Mum's like, what's the new band you're in love? Oh, it's called The Scrape, Mum. Oh, that's lovely. You and Glenn still doing your stuff.
That's definitely what I told my mum when I said I was going to HQ to see some bands.
Right. See some bands.
How do you reckon, coming from that side of being in a band, has that informed the business side of things for you, the way you treat people to deal with them? Is that
I definitely think you've got to. It gives you an understanding of what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. Which I kind of think is important too. Like, I mean, lots of promoters that haven't come from that side of things, which is fine. But I mean, there's a lot of promoters, agents, people in the business, tour managers, and that are failed musicians. That are, when I say failed, I hate that term actually, because if you've given something a go, just because it didn't work out, I don't know if failure is the right word for it. It just didn't work out. Some people, like, geez, there's some really shitty fucking bands that have been successful, right? So But I think that does kind of parlay into that, where you kind of like, okay, I can see why this guy's behaving like this, or this is a singer thing, or this is a drummer thing, or these people are more particular than these sorts of people, or I know for a fact you don't really need that particular item, but we'll get it for you anyway, like type thing. So things like that. It's not necessary, but it's definitely had that. It
gives you
that side.
Broader perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So with the promoting of things, you start with Soundworks Touring in the early days. People are reaching out to you initially. You're growing that list of contacts.
Yep.
How does it evolve from there? And what is the process of bringing a band out these days?
It hasn't changed a great deal. It's still, an email or reach out. I mean, it's obviously it's a lot of, if you've got a history with an agent or something like that, they know who you are, they know what you've done, your reputation precedes you sometimes, all that sort of stuff. But for the most part, it's still the same thing. You reach out to someone. Like the next couple of years, we've got that much work coming in that I haven't had to chase a lot of things. People are coming to us.
Yep.
Or it's just picking up on, that's been 2 or 3 years since that band came out.
Yeah,
it's probably time just to flick so-and-so a quick email.
Yeah, okay.
Bang.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, oh shit, we should probably, like June last year, we were up at Grass Pop, and you end up, you guess the bands or guess the festival or whatever, and oh shit, we haven't done. It's probably time for so-and-so to come out, and that's done over fucking 7 or 8 beers and at 10 o'clock at night watching a band or something. Like, it's not a bad way to do business, but sometimes nothing comes of it. I've had trips we've done. I'm just going, oh, that was a fucking. Well, it's not a waste of money because you're still networking or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And they're fucking fun. I was going to say, there's worse work trips to go on. Yeah. All that sort of stuff. So, but for the most part, it's still an email. And if it's someone you might just send them a text and go, hey, you got 10 minutes for a quick chat tonight?
Yep.
That kind of thing. With agents that I've known for a while that I really get along with. It's that kind of way.
So there's an expression of interest, mutual interest, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the logistical side of things. Obviously, you've got to work out bringing them here logistically, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because most of your offers are done on what they call landed offer. So it'll be, X amount of money versus 70%. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with these sorts of deals. So think of it like a big pot. So you will go, okay, we're going to offer you 100 grand versus 70% for X band for 5 shows.
Okay.
And they'll go, rightio. Now, to come to that conclusion, I've done all my expenses of what it costs to have that band here, including that 100 grand, right? So it's 100 grand, it might be 150 on expenses ground, that's all your flights, airport, accommodations, catering, the whole lot, your crew, everything like that. So you're like, okay, that's what I need to break even is that 150 costs in there. So I need 250 to break even. But what we'll do, you take the performance fee out of it.
Yep.
And then you go, rightio, we sell these tickets. Okay, we've turned over 350 grand. So all of a sudden, it's you take that 150 away, and it's what's left. They get 70%, you get 30%, and then they kind of go, "Oh, that's actually worth 130 grand to me, not the 100 grand to the artist," and they'll take that. So, there used to be old school threshold deals, like if you get over a certain amount of payers. I know there's some promoters that still do that, but I find that a bit futile to be competitive.
Over a certain threshold.
Yeah, like after the 330 payers, we'll give you 70%. But the versus model is pretty much if you want to be competitive.
And fairest to both parties.
Yeah, and 70% is an arbitrary number. That's probably a minimum. They can go up to 95%.
Right.
The Rolling Stones one was famously 1% to the promoter. So, but it's all relative, right? Like if something's turning over $80 million, 1% of whatever that's going to profit is.
Type deal.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's the nuts and bolts. So we'll just sort of say. So once it starts to get moving, we'll go. All right, I'll come back to you with an offer in the next few days.
Yeah.
That's usually how we do it. Within 48 hours, I've got something on someone's desk, kind of going, because to me, I mean, there's some promoters who go, no, you got to get that offer in like as soon as you get off that email, you got to do that. So it's like, okay, I like to sit there for a couple of days, bounce it in house, and just with my partner, with Dave, I'll even go out to Dicey and whatever as a tour manager and publicist and kind of go, because he's a stats lord as well, and he'd be like, "Oh, last time we did it, it was this. Maybe don't overcook it, type thing." But I found that that's always been really good. Like to have that sort of team around me as well. But within 48 hours, I've usually got something on someone's desk. Sometimes we get it, sometimes you don't. And then there's the back end of that of not following it up. If you haven't heard back from an agent, you don't want to sound too needy, so you're not there every other day going, "Well, how's my offer?" Like type thing, because I'd do it too if I was an agent, just go, so there's wiggle room, type thing. So you're desperate, like type thing. So I often just leave it. If I've got a band that part of the routing is on a festival or something like that, and I start to get pressure from a festival promoter going, hey, we really want to tidy up our lineup. Are you delivering this band or not? Then I'll go back to an agent and I'll definitely word it that way. Hey, look, we're copping pressure from the festival. Blah, 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 blah. There's some I've just thrown out there and do not give a fuck whether they get back to me or not. That is the offer. Like, I'm not budging. Someone else can have it. That kind of thing. So, because you don't need every tour.
No.
Just like that. Anything in small business, you don't need every customer. It's the ones you've got that you want to look after.
You've identified. It's not a small niche that you guys are operating in, but there's kind of like a wheelhouse, right? That you
for
guys
us,
are operating in, and that's what works for you.
Yep.
So from there, you're then obviously in that 48 hours. Are you identifying the venues that you're hoping to put these bands in, and all that sort of stuff?
I usually go out with my offers with holds already on the venues, in case they come back straight away and go, we're good to go. The last thing you want to do is then go back to your venues and they're like, nah, that's gone. And then you've got to go back and go, sorry. And they'll go say, why didn't you have holds with your offer type thing? So
what's the metric for working out who plays where and getting that right? Is that based on experience?
It used to be record sales. So like you would go to Okay, so we used to go to, say, Riot Distribution at one point, or a Modern Invasion, or someone like that, and go, oh, how many sales did that last Carcass record do?
Right.
Like, or something like that, for example. They'd be like, 8,000 nationally, or something like that, which it seems really small, but that's a decent sized number in Australia at the time. And we go, oh, shit, okay, all right, well, they're Sydney and Melbourne, they're 1,200 cap venues, so probably a good 800, 900 in... You can kind of work it out that way. Nowadays, a lot of it is Spotify.
Yeah,
Like just looking at plays, that kind of stuff. Then there's things like Viberate, Chartmetric, packages you can purchase, which you'd say, what are the listening numbers for Ailstorm in Perth, Western Australia,
Wow.
and it'll literally tell you that.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, so there's those sorts of things, things like Polestar website and stuff like that, where you can, you have your subscription to that. That gives you access to the agents, and you can buy data where you can go, okay, what were the last, 4 tours they did? What were the box office receipts in these cities type thing? Right. So you can look at all of it, but some of it may amount to nothing, and some of it, a good one for us. One of the biggest sort of bands we tour in our space is Ailstorm.
Yeah.
And we took that first tour for flights and $3,000 or $5,000 in like 2010, purely because we had no way of telling when we found out after the tour that the band had only sold 300 albums or something in Australia.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
But we took that tour because we went, oh, they seem like fun.
Yeah.
And Australians love beer. And a band that's singing about beer and rum and called Ailstorm, Australians are going to fucking love that. Yeah. And I think our first tour, it did really well. It sold out like the corner in Melbourne, 750. We got 400 in Perth and all that. And, and now we're in the midst of talking to them again for another offer now. And, we're talking like, oh, let's do a 2,000 cap forum in Melbourne at least, and we'll keep another one on hold. Yeah. We're going to do at least an Enmore in Sydney, 2,500, and we'll probably outgrown the Tivoli on the last two. We'll probably go into Fortitude. Yep. That kind of thing. 3,000, and they've stuck with us the whole time. Yep. That's a real loyal, fun relationship and bit of business that we've got with those guys. Love them all to a man. Their crew, everyone in that tour party. Yeah. And I know they feel the same way about us. It's just like a big yay, we're all doing a tour type thing. But it's very, very good business.
Yeah, right. So there's a combination, obviously, because you're carrying most of the risk. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've got to do what you can to mitigate that. Yep. Obviously, there's some science behind it. I was wondering whether it was mostly like vibes and voodoo or whether there was some science behind it.
Oh,
there's a combination of everything.
There's a little bit, of that, but then there's a lot of just chuck shit at the wall.
Yeah, hope for the best. Yeah, you win some, you lose some, I guess, as well, right?
Yeah, but we're very conditioned to it, and I think to be in this business, you have to... you have to be aware of that. Yeah. And if it bothers you, if a loss is going to make you go, oh, fuck, what's going on here, then you're probably in the wrong business. You got to be willing to be a risk taker.
Yeah, not everyone's cut out for that, right?
No, and that's fair enough too. Yeah.
I'm not sure I could go home to my wife and say we're about to mortgage the house for something.
I mean, if all us, especially us independent promoters, if we're all very honest, we're fucking lunatics.
You have to be a little bit.
Yeah, there's a special breed. Yeah.
So along those lines, May 2014. You put Perth and Adelaide on notice.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. The hashtag no Perth. Was that when that was?
May 2014. It was when I looked it up. It was described as direct and blunt statements from the. I got it here. It said Perth and Adelaide, you're officially on notice. If the ticket sales do not hit a respectable point, we'll be removing both cities from all future touring plans.
Yeah.
What was the reaction to that post? And
oh fuck, I can't remember, man.
Yeah. How have things evolved since then?
What outlet did that come from?
Oh. Google.
All right. Google outlet.
I can't remember. I can't remember where I got my notes from. It's probably, I don't know.
Oh, I just remember so obviously we're based in Perth.
Yep.
And we started this business because, you see promoters doing it nowadays and they're not from here.
Yep.
Type thing. And I felt like being from Perth and starting this business because not only did Dicey and I want to, as we said at the start, 10 odd years since extreme metal bands had come out to Australia, we wanted to bring that back to Australia. But we really were proud of like, we're going to fucking make these shows happen in Perth. And for a while it went really well. And then, other people came in doing it, putting some shitty tours in there. Perth got a little bit spoiled.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden people weren't coming out. And that's fine. I'm actually, and always have been, people spend their money how they fucking like, right? So it's none of my business.
Yeah.
But I did at the time think, if you're not going to turn up, I'm going to do the decent thing and let you know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let you know, because we could just run this business up and down the East Coast and in New Zealand, and that'll be fucking fine.
Yep.
It'll be fine for us. We will still do good business.
Yeah.
It was basically more of a, if you want it,
Yep.
let us know. Talk to us. Tell us what you'd like to see, all that sort of stuff. But I thought I had to be kind of blunt with it.
Yeah.
So, it probably did come across as like, who's this company?
I mean, I don't
but-
particularly read it like.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a fair enough statement. It's just essentially if you're carrying all that risk as well.
Yeah.
It's a little peek behind the curtain for the punter.
Yep.
To know that these things aren't just going to be a layup forever, right?
No.
Particularly like, look, Time's a Flat Circle. I can't really remember May 2014 specifically.
No, I definitely
But I
can't.
know sort of that late 2010s or leading up to 2010s, there was a lot. We had festivals still.
Yeah.
We had plenty of gigs. We were probably a bit saturated. We were a bit spoilt for choice.
Yeah.
And we probably thought that gravy train was going to run forever as punters.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt this is just my opinion on it.
Yep.
But for someone like yourself to say, hey, look, like I'm putting these things on for the general public. If you're not turning up, they go away.
Yeah.
And we're probably going through the whole thing with old mate from Soundwave doing the same thing at the same time. So
that was 2015.
Yeah.
His
and he
last
just cut WA
one.
off the map.
Yeah.
So-
So and I've become very good friends with
Have
AJ
you?
over the
Yeah.
last 2 or 3 years. So
Yeah.
we've done a few things. Actually, we just did Behemoth together in February. And
Yeah. So
I
he
went
was
with-
saying similar stuff. And
Yeah,
he-
absolutely, but on a
he-
grander scale, right? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Probably more blunt and direct.
Yeah, which he at the time, I mean, he still is. Speaking of glorious weirdos, but it was one of those things too. And maybe I did look at that and kind of go, okay, well, if he can do that, where he's talking about millions of dollars, and I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars, but it was still important to us, and it worked. And now you sparked my memory, because at one point I think I then flicked it into, hey, Perth, Adelaide's kicking your ass.
Yeah, I did that,
Yeah, and all of a sudden, and Dicey rings one day, he goes, dude, we've just had like this spike in ticket sales today. It's like fucking good. Like, but then it became a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
And there was a hashtag no Perth show.
Yeah.
I created that because I thought, I've got to control the narrative a little bit.
Yeah.
So I started like putting it on like, someone would post something and I would just put that.
Yeah.
And then it became this thing, like type thing. So forgot about that.
The agitator.
The
The disruptor.
Yeah. But it was I don't know whether it was needed or not, or but I mean, we did Dying Fetus at the end of last year. We copped a lot of shit for not putting that show in Perth.
Okay.
And we could have.
Yeah.
And it would have done all right. But the band, and this is what people don't understand, the band specifically said, we don't want to fly all the way from Baltimore across the States, across the Pacific, and then across another continent to start there.
Right.
But no,
right.
let's start in Adelaide. I was trying to say, you can fucking do this.
Yeah.
But then there was this bit of me that kind of went,
I respect that.
this one's not actually on me, but when it lit up. But now I don't have to say fuck all, because someone else will definitely come on and go, hey, this might have been out of the promoter's hands. This might not have been their decision. Blah, blah, blah. And then they'll start, their Western fronts or whatever pages popular with the kids these days. Publicity's not my area. And it was just kind of like, you guys are right, type thing. But then when things like Death Clock, which we did a year ago, probably or so. We knew that was actually, I left that one off. We were like, what the fuck? Why aren't we getting another? And then we actually went, maybe we should drop that in.
Yeah.
And it sold out like fucking in 6 weeks, like at the Astor.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of had to go, oh shit, I actually read that one wrong. We probably should have just had that one on the itinerary from the start.
Yeah.
Like type thing. But it does I know it just sounds a little bit corporate-y, but it just comes down to numbers. It always comes down to numbers for us. It is a business at the end of the day. As much as we love it and we're in it for the passion and the organic growth that happened and all that, it became our livelihood.
Yeah.
So it needs to be treated with that level of respect.
Yeah. So super dumb question from a dumb punter. Why wouldn't it be viable to bring a band here and just charge us a shit ton more than you charge everyone else?
Yeah, we've considered that, but I think that's a shitty look.
Yeah.
You know, and so, when we did Froth and Fury Festival this year, our ticket price was a little bit higher, and the Adelaide partners were like, oh, it's not a good look that your ticket price is a little bit higher. And I actually fought that and said, people in Perth are used to paying a bit more because they do understand it takes a bit more to get here and this, that and the other and all that sort of stuff. You know, and we got that up over the line, but if festival's one thing, but for club or theatre shows, I just feel it's a bit of a shitty look to go.
It'd have to be a significant percentage of the ticket.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You know, if all of a sudden someone in Perth's paying $100 and someone in Sydney's paying $85, I feel that could have there's opportunity for blowback on that as well.
I see,
you know, and then people not going to something out of spite, and all that sort of stuff. So I've always wanted to keep it fair for everyone.
No,
the ticket price is the ticket price, and also going, it you know, it can then open up another conversation with the booking agent and stuff like that, and they don't want that reflecting on the artist, you know, and that kind of thing. So no, not a stupid question at all, because we are used to paying more for things here because of the travel cost. But it's usually the cost of goods and stuff like that, not so much entertainment.
Okay, makes sense. So we sort of look at it differently. We're prepared to pay more for other things, but we're doing a direct apples and apples comparison to the price of a ticket of a show in Sydney to a ticket in Perth. It probably isn't fair. So,
and that question will pop up. I think the first couple of tours we did that. Where we made Perth was more expensive. And then it just never sat well with me.
Well, I'm a sports fan as well, and I
likewise
pay my Eagles membership, and I know I pay a shit ton more than I would if I was going to go see St Kilda in Melbourne or whatever. Which would be okay if the team didn't suck so hard. But so I think you're right. We do have a certain understanding, but I can see exactly what you mean in that you really can't afford to sort of disenfranchise everybody over here because we're being fucking ripped off every time or whatever. Interesting. So how much has the game evolved over the years that you've been doing it? Like, have you noticed much change in the punter behaviour, the turnout, all that sort of stuff, or is it sort of?
It's been pretty consistent, like for us. As a promoter, it's more competitive than it's ever been. You know, because we kind of sit in the middle. Then you've got, like, there's a mid-tier sort of heavy music promoter. Then above us, you've got DAL significantly because they're just spread out doing so many things. And then under us, there's a couple of other operators coming up. Sort of nipping at our heels and stuff like that. But we find now that our offers definitely have to be highly competitive. That kind of thing. But punter behaviour is still pretty similar. Like, and turnouts are still pretty similar, I find, like for the right bands. But what is good to see, like being someone, I'm 52, and there's a lot of, with the extreme heavy music that we've done with these bands that have been around 30 years plus, lots of the punters are like our age, type thing, which is great. But what I do like seeing is, like, even when we had Dying Fetus out recently, there's a lot of older people, but there's also a lot of young people that are coming because they're finding, this is the band that influenced this band or got me into that band that I like, and they're starting to put these puzzles together. So, I mean, heavy metal in particular is that I just find it's that one form of music. It's going to be here as long as there's people that want to be in bands, right? It is that. You know, it's a cockroach. It'll never go away.
I hope so. I really hope so.
And I love it. I love it. You know, then there's big bands of pop and rock nature and that you know will be remembered in 100 years' time. But which is great. But I think the idea of heavy music and what it means to us as underground folk, so to say, I think it will always resonate somewhere. What really opened my eyes up to that was when I was working in Indonesia with the Hammer Sonic Festival from about 2013 through to about 2018. just seeing then, I mean, there's been a rise of the middle class up there now, which is great, but the amount of people that didn't have much money that would, sacrifice a lot to come to these things. And when I say come to these things, like in the tens of thousands, like a band like Black Dahlia Murder, for example, could go up there on their way coming here to Australia. All right, we're coming into Perth. We're going to do 400 at Amplifier Bar, and they've just come from Jakarta, where it was their headline show with a couple of local bands, and they played to 4,000 people. Because they're just that fanatical about it. And that, I mean, that is really opening my eyes up. Going, well, even if something mellowed out or tapered out down here, that country's not letting anything go, man. They're in for the long haul. So, that whole rise of that across Southeast Asia, but especially Indonesia, that country is something else when it comes to being fanatical about a form of music. Like they're all in, sort of thing. So, but here in Australia, I find that there's, the people that are into it are right fucking into it. And as you guys know, so 90%, I think I'm underestimating. There's 90% of us that are fucking nerds. We just love it. And we don't like that. We like games, and we like Game of Thrones, and we like fucking chess, and fucking, and the amount of people in the heavy music scene that are fucking highly educated. My wife works in corporate finance. She goes, I was in this meeting in Adelaide the other day, and she goes, this guy, I wouldn't have expected it, but she goes, I'd mentioned that you're a concert promoter. And I said, what you do? And he's like, I've been to most of Brad's shows. She goes, I wouldn't have picked that. And I had this thing. I was like, babe, we're everywhere.
Yes.
We are everywhere.
We've propagated.
We are doctors. We're lawyers. We're metallurgists. We're whatever.
We learned how to do surgery from Carcass albums.
But it is one of those things. Like heavy metal fans exist in all walks of life, and don't necessarily wear battle jackets and have long hair.
It's funny, isn't it? Because there's always something I was supposed to grow out of.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about you, but I was told, this is a phase. It only got worse, Like, oh, no, the boys listen to Metallica. This is the end of everything. And I was like, it's going to get much worse from here.
I find some of my tastes now, have got even more extreme.
It gets more broad as well, but more extreme. So, So are you no longer involved with Hammersonic?
No. I'm very good friends with the owner, Ravel Gennady. He's a very, very dear friend of mine. But coming in 2018, I stepped down as a booker.
Okay.
And I've been up to a couple since then. And then obviously COVID happened and things like that. But I'm a big fan of what he does up there.
Yeah. Still running it up there, okay?
I think he's May 2nd is this year's
That's Parkway,
edition.
Isn't it?
And a few other bands too.
Nice.
I'm not up there for this one this year because we've got Fear Factory straight after that. So and that kind of circles back in because my old band Choke opened up for Fear Factory on the Obsolete tour. So here we are fucking years later. And I've met Dino and hung out. And it's all these years later, it's like, now we're actually bringing them out.
I wouldn't have missed them back in those days for sure until now. That was a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're one of those bands too that I saw that I think Allegiance supported them, and the first show they did at Club Atlantis, 93, I want to say.
Yeah, right, wasn't it that one?
Tickets were like $18.
Machine tour or something.
Yeah.
No, I went to Demanufacture. Went to that one, but
it was it was cool. They were a very, very influential band on us and all that sort of stuff. So
that CD didn't leave our CD rotation for a good
the little 5-disc thing.
That and Roots were just there non-stop. The neighbours knew it very, very well. With the bands like that you put out, have you got a white whale? Is there someone that you would have been chasing that you would love to bring that you haven't been able to secure?
I think it used to be bands like Meshuggah and stuff like that, but then other operators had picked them up and stuff like that. And I've always had a healthy respect for, if someone else has got the history, I leave it alone. Unless the protocol is supposed to be that if an agent comes to you, then it's kind of open slather.
Okay, But so there's some unwritten rules around the way.
Yeah, but to go and try and just rip something off from another promoter is
okay.
They might say like a dog act,
type
thing. But I've never really gone down that path. But no, I don't think so. I know what our space is, and I know where our bread's buttered and what works. And I've been lucky enough. I've gone out of my lane a couple of times with
Yes.
a good mate of mine, Brad Drummond, who's at TG, Dainty. We've done things like two cellos. And
Yeah.
things like that. And that's
That was
gone,
big for you, right?
That's gone into arenas and stuff
Yeah.
like that, you
Yeah.
know, so which is a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's
but
interesting,
as far as chasing something, well, Carcass are my all-time favourite band.
Okay.
And when I toured them for the first time in 2008,
Yeah.
I said to everyone around me, I said, I'm out.
Retiring?
Yeah, I'm done. That's it.
Going
We're
out the
done.
thing,
There's
yeah.
nothing else to achieve. So,
Yeah, nice, yeah.
and if you told me in 1993, 94 that they would become dear friends with me, like, you know, WhatsApping each other happy birthday type vibe.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
you know, someone's, you know, just talking about your family or your kids or
Yeah.
stuff like that. Or, we're in London next, we'll go out for beers. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, I would have slapped you for going, don't tease me.
Yeah.
You know, how
Down
much
to
I
one
love
degree of
this band.
separation with your
Yeah,
musical
now it's like
heroes,
I still love them. I was at Grass Pop in Belgium last year, and I was sitting out the back, boozing on with the guys, laughing, joking, talking about the things we're just talking about, just dribbling absolute shit. All right, we've got to go and get on stage. All right, you're going to come side of stage. Oh, no. Like, I'm going to be fucking down in that pit. And still, you know, the fucking intro comes on.
Yeah.
And I'm still like nudging dice. You go, it still fucking feels the same, eh?
Yeah.
So it's that.
Yep.
Yeah, that.
Yep.
But no White Whales. I think Carcass were the one I always wanted to be able to say that I toured and worked with, and and we did that. So everything else is. Oh, there's so many bands I love that we've worked with.
Yeah.
But no White Whale
Yeah,
to
okay.
say. No,
Yeah.
not anymore.
Yeah.
No, not after 25 odd years.
No,
or whatever.
well, there's a pretty comprehensive list I've
Yeah.
printed off the old Google machine there. You had any particularly crazy requests from bands? On that note, I was listening to you on the Antisocial podcast,
Oh yeah.
and you were just starting to tell a story about Aaron Turner from ISIS's meditation TP,
Oh, that's where I was going to go right now.
and unfortunately the audio cuts out.
Oh, does it?
And you never get to finish the
Oh,
episode.
yeah,
and I
yeah,
need
that-
closure on that bloody anecdote.
Yeah,
mate.
that is the one.
Fucking Aaron Turner.
Yeah,
What did
actually,
you-
speaking of them, I did go. I am chasing Neurosis, but
Oh.
I bet every fucking promoter in Australia is.
Dude,
I
that
have
album
not,
came
I
out
have
of
not had a
nowhere.
reply. So,
Well, our group chat blew up that morning, didn't it?
yeah, you listened to it, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm
fucking
about
incredible.
three rotations in now.
Unreal.
From the last couple of days,
Just a
fucking
nice
great.
little blending of some of my favourite music right now.
Yeah, and his voice cuts in, and straight away you're like, "Fuck!" You know that
Yeah.
roar. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking, it's brilliant.
They have Converge dropping surprise albums. It's all happening, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking, yeah. Well, how lucky are we as music fans, as
Great.
consumers, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it does involve that. That was, I think, when was that? 2008, 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would've been- yeah.
And I think Dave Batty from Custom Made, he had the relationship with, he was touring them. Or maybe it was a bit before that, because they had to disband, they pulled it, didn't they?
It's a very unfortunate
Fucking
coincidence.
sucks. Yeah.
I don't wear my t-shirts too often anymore.
No.
My ISIS merch doesn't get broken out too much.
But yeah, it was on the thing, on their rider, it had meditation TP. And I was fucking loved the band, and we had a sold out show on our hands, and I'm like, you know what? Fucking I'm gonna get this I'm gonna make this TP. And so I made the fucking TP. And
Got out in the shed and
so
whittled it.
Yeah, went up to Bunnings, got the fucking dowel and fucking glued and gaffed and pulled this thing and fucking took it in my van down to the fucking show and carried it in like a fucking idiot and set it up in there. And the band walked in and just lost it and said, "No one's actually ever done that." I was like, "Well, now you
Trying to run out.
you have a TP.
Get in there and fucking meditate,
you
Turner.
fucking better start meditating. You'll meditate. You'll like
You're
it."
not zen when I come back in 5 minutes. I'm burning that fucking thing.
No, they were cool, and the show was fucking
Yeah.
insane. And
Yeah.
I think that's the most requests I've had from all my friends in bands, including like I think everyone from Carnival. Like, "Oh, can we get like
Put us on the
Drew
door.
+5, please?" I was like,
I want to actually sell a ticket, please.
yeah. They're the only. They're probably some of my only friends that could get away with that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those things where
Yeah.
it was. Everyone wanted to fucking get in on that one because
Yeah.
it just sold out immediately because
Yeah.
it was good.
So it would have been vegan food, a meditation TP, and some. Did he want any crayons as well? Some.
Oh, I can't remember any of that. Yeah, the
I'm sure Aaron wanted to do some drawing.
Yeah, the TP just overrode everything.
And nothing else jumps out as a silly. Do you offer a rider? Is it part of the deal?
No. I mean, we fulfil whatever's sent to us.
Yep.
Within reason.
So
But
there people reach out and say this is their list of.
yeah, so often you'll get sent stuff. What's his name? Paul Discerni, who's doing that. I forget the name of his thing, but he's got Mortal Sin doing it and stuff coming up. And he's like, the other day, he's like, I got this rider from Mortal Sin, but it's got all this, stuff on it. I said, that's a European, festival rider, man. I said, you don't have to do all that.
Yeah, right.
So it's, there's parts of a rider, you'll get something, and I remember when we first used to get them, fucking 23 odd years ago. You go, what the fuck? Coffee machines and fucking this.
Charcuterie board.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. But if you look at it and you just use your common sense and go, oh, fuck, we can facilitate all that. And then, buyouts at the end of the night where you either give each band member fucking $30-40 to go buy himself something, or you just bring food in and all that sort of stuff. So in places like Europe and whatever, the bus will roll into a city at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's expected they go into the venue and lunch will be provided. The crew will go about their day, and then later on dinner will be provided in venue.
Okay.
And then usually the venue will prepare sandwiches or ordering pizzas and that for the bus for the night and stuff like that. But over here, it's a different sort of kettle of fish where...
Yeah.
We'll fly in somewhere. The crew will go into the venue. We'll make sure that they've got, deli trays, sandwiches, all their soft drinks and water and whatever. Then when the band gets in later on, there'll be a separate selection of the similar sort of stuff for them. And then, then they can have their grog, their beers, their spirits, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, end of the show, Dicey as a tour manager will go up to their TM or one of the head band members, just go, what do you guys like at the end of the night? Pizzas, kebabs, fucking fish and chips, whatever you like. And we'll just go out and, while they're on stage, that'll go and get sourced and it'll be waiting in the dressing room as soon as they come back in.
Yeah.
And then there's a good hour of fucking around where everyone just sits around, friends come in, catching up and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, glad handing and
and everyone wants to fucking do that shit. And it's the usual stuff where it's just quite boring.
So I guess you're not dealing with prima donnas. That says to me that you're dealing with some mostly down to earth people.
Mostly down to earth people. There's been one or two that have been a little bit unreasonable. I'm not going to drop any names, but I fucking don't work with those people anymore, so I don't really care. But I've always looked at those sort of operators and just kind of gone, fucking, that's a shame that you got to see the world that way. That you've got to think that fucking everyone's got to bow and scrape to your shit, because especially in the heavy metal world, because we're a small part. There's the music industry, and we're a small part of that. Yeah. And some of these people don't. They realise that fucking no one gives a shit about you outside of what we do. Yeah. And you're being looked after. You're being accommodated. You're really just being a bit of a pushy ass and a bit unnecessary. But as I say, if I was to name, if there was 100 bands, there would probably be 2. Yep. So that strike rate's amazing. So all in all, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Dealing with a nice low maintenance end of
but I mean, you put that in the broader scheme of what it's like in general day-to-day life. Yeah. 98 people that you meat are probably fucking pretty decent. And you meet 2 dickheads.
2 entitled assholes.
And you just avoid them, right?
Actually, the ratio's much higher, but that's...
Well, I'm being generous.
Yeah, right. And then I want to talk a bit about Froth and Fury.
Yep.
How did you get involved in that?
Jason and Cassie have been very, very good friends of mine. Yep. Jason's one of the primary owners of the festival, and his partner, his life partner, Cassie. Yep. And we'd been looking to do something over here. Yep. Under our own banner and all that sort of stuff.
Festival-wise?
For a long time. Yep. Hadn't been able to sort of identify the right time to do it, and we're going to do that. And Jason's like, well, would you be interested in doing it under the Froth banner? And I said, we'll give it a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We can just put a line through it and move on. And but...
So they were running that in Adelaide for how long prior?
They've been doing that for 4 years.
Okay.
I think 4 or 5. I think this year gone was their 5th one.
Righto.
So it kind of just fell into place that way. I'd had a number of bands on the festival that we'd been touring and stuff like that. Like we had Hailstorm headline it in 23. Yeah. 22. And stuff like that. So it kind of just came out of... a friendship.
It was a good synergy anyway if they were...
Yeah. And I was with Jason and Cass just last week because we were over for Sepultura and Anthrax, and then Wu-Tang Clan on the Friday night. So,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 3 gigs in 3 nights, which is
Wow.
pretty good. So as a
Yeah.
punter, I haven't done that in
Yeah.
forever.
It'd take me 2 months to get over that.
Oh yeah, I was pretty shattered when we got back on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I've had 1 beer since. So.
Yeah, you're on a detox.
Yeah, went out. On Monday night,
Yeah.
just went down to Varsity and had a pint. So.
Yeah, I may not ever leave the house again if that was me. Were you happy with the way that the Froth and Fury Festival went?
I'm happy with the way it ran.
Yeah.
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 We ran it flawlessly. It was, the way it ran, the bands loved it, punters loved it.
Yep.
We, for first time festival organizer, I was pretty stoked.
Yep.
Just the way we executed it was absolutely flawless.
Yeah.
All the feedback has just been absolutely phenomenal. So
As a punter there, I 100% agree.
yeah, and everyone
I've
said
been
had a good
to
time.
multiple festivals,
Yep.
a couple around the world, and honestly, the vibe was immaculate. I'd looking around a bunch of old bearded bastards like me who probably haven't been out to something like that for quite a few years. Just having Christmas Day, we had our little crew there.
Definitely second that. It was a really great day.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely loved the thought. Loved the lineup. Loved everything about the way it was executed. You could tell that it was done by people who knew what they were doing and had the punter's best interests at heart.
Yep.
And that was evident in the lead up to it. Like I could tell. I had a good feeling that things were going to go really well. Just things like the bus available and just shit like that was just perfect. And I love a music festival.
Yeah,
it's my natural
likewise.
habitat these days. And I haven't been to one for so long. Absolutely loved it. And over the moon to see Nail Bomb.
Yeah, it was good. That was the first ever show in Australia.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many bands or that you remember the first time you ever heard them, right?
Yeah.
And Nail Bomb for me was one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great for us too because like 3 of the members in that band were from Pig Destroyer.
Yeah.
So who we just toured and got along really. Yeah, Travis, Char, and Jarvo. So and we get along famously with all those guys.
Righto,
Love them to death. So some of the funniest people I know.
Yeah.
But so to have those guys out and all that as well, it was like only 4 months after. It was great.
Were you involved in securing any of the bands for the lineup?
Absolutely, yeah. So Jason and I just worked together very well. So and I loved that part of the process, like putting it in. I mean, it's real. Yeah, people will never know what goes on with that, and you stare at it because you've got it done like a good month or 2 before it's announced.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it going, fuck yeah, I hope people are as excited about this as I am. I hope people see what I see, like type thing.
Yeah.
But at that moment it gets released.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, is it tumbleweeds or is it fucking excitement? And luckily people saw it the way we did and were like, holy fuck, this kind of thing. But and all those amenities you saw, what I loved about it, so I walked into that venue in December 24, I went down there and I walked through there just by myself and with the venue general manager, Dan, and I said, I can see it and I could see that compound and what I could do with it and I could see where the merch was going to be and where I wanted to have food trucks and it exists so long in your fucking head and it's not until like the day before and I was just walking around the site there's obviously people tinkering with stuff and that, but I was walking around by myself going, fucking, this is exactly what it looked like. And, I've started and built restaurants before, like Bumping Burger and all that sort of stuff, and I know what that's like, where you've got this thing in your head. And I never used to really consider it until one day my mate Dave Haley, we're at Bump In, and he goes, how far different does this look sitting in this restaurant of yours to what was in your head?
Right.
To what went down on the CAD, to what went out to everything. I said, apart from this one door over here that's not there that I had, I said, everything is exactly as it was in my fucking my brain at the time. So that was a big thing for me to walk around that site the day before and just kind of go, fuck, man. Yeah. This fucking flows. Like, and there's so much fucking shade. And so I was prepping it for a 40-degree day.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, I was like, we need to prep this as for 40. And lucky it was like, it was daylight today, right?
Yeah,
it was like 27, mild breeze.
Yeah.
I remember looking at the weather coming in the week before going, get fucked.
Same.
Like, this is awesome.
God,
this is
because-
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
you want to be in that weather.
Oh man, some of
having
the
a
festivals
fucking
in
beer and
Perth.
enjoying bands. So so.
I mean, there's that Soundwave that was like 44 degrees.
Oh, was that the one out at Bassendean?
Yeah. Heat wave.
Yeah, but I was walking in like later in the afternoon one day. It was like walking into a fucking paddock. Like there was one tree,
Yeah.
with a bit of shade, and everyone's huddled under this tree.
That was
like,
me and my mates who
like
got there at
cows.
7 o'clock in the morning for that spot. Didn't see a band all day. We just huddled under that tree.
I had, that Bassendean one was my first Soundwave, and I got a big nose. So like, even though I put sun cream on, I got so sunburned, and it.
Oh, you and I both.
About like 7 p.m. Someone in front of me, I can't remember who I was watching Devil Drive or someone just like flicked their head back, headbutted me accidentally in the back of on my nose, and for like a week I just had this huge like sunburn scar.
Battle scars.
So, yeah.
I just had heat stroke. I was fine. Yeah. No, So, do you want to announce next year's lineup now, mate?
No.
We'd love to have it back. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned Bumping Burger.
Yes.
You're still involved?
No, sold that in 2022. So,
Right, yeah.
I'd wanted to sort of have a restaurant for a while.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a foodie, as you can probably tell.
Yeah.
And, I'd said to my wife, again, hear me out.
Her life's like Shark Tank.
Yeah, but now she's just like, okay, what now? What do we got? And that was coming to fruition around 2016, and we identified a place which luckily was just down the road from my house in Woodvale, and the whole Bumpin' Burger, it was the brand we created. I wrote the menu.
Yeah.
A whole pile of shit in conjunction with another guy, a chef. Obviously, I bounced things off him and this and that, and he contributed to it as well, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was the whole design, the skate decks with the fucking Edison lights and all that sort of shit. It was all done to, and I didn't have a problem with devourment playing. As people walked in on a Friday night, and again, people were kind of like, "Oh, what if people don't like it? So they can get their food and fuck off."
That's right.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the taste of the quality of the food.
Beyonce at Woolworths.
Yeah. Well, go do your shopping and come back.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right,
it's the locale's excellent. So, it's so it was just something that I wanted to have, in the in the arsenal, and
We frequented it, didn't we? We've been there a few times.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Cheers. And it's the whole idea. So it's like the thing I've done with small businesses over the years is get in, buy them, recondition them, and then offload them.
Yeah, okay.
At a profit. And so the whole idea was the same thing with Bumpin'. I didn't ever want to be working in it.
Yep.
I just wanted to be an operator, and I just wanted to fucking come up with this idea, build up this thing, and offload it, because that whole burger thing was going. So the whole idea was to kick it off in 2018 and sell it at some point in 2020.
Yeah.
So obviously that all went to shit.
Yes.
So we ground it out through those 18 months or whatever it was, 2 years. Me and my mate Mal, I was doing the podcast with, we were a bit bored, so we started like doing coffee in the mornings and shit like that, just for shits and giggles, which is great.
Yeah.
Then in 2022, I put it on the market. I had a few offers, and then the young girl that was managing it, her and her partner, they were like, "Oh, can we buy it off you?"
All right.
So I said, "All right,
Yeah.
go family. For it." So they took it. My oldest son, my middle son, sorry, he's 20, he's at uni, but he's he still works there.
He was going to be the dish pig, wasn't he?
So Well, he came. I fired him twice.
Oh, really?
So
Twice.
Yeah. Hey, that says I'm fair, right? I let him come back.
So 2 chances is
Yeah. Oh, when he was in high school, he goes, because you get 5 kilo bags of this premium mince, and that we just roll them up into balls, 130 odd grams, and then you'd put them in these tubs, refrigerate them, and then when it, part of the prep for shift was to just squash them down, put them all, lay them all out, so that then the cooks could just fucking slap them on as busy as it got. So you weren't doing any prep during the evening, of course. And his job was just to come in and fucking do that. And I was paying him, I said $7 a bag. And if you do it really quick, you can get through 3 bags in an hour.
Yeah.
So he's 14, like $21 an hour. That's pretty good.
It's more than I make now.
Yeah, I know. And then he didn't turn up for a shift. I said, man, you can't do that. And then he didn't turn up for a shift again. So I was like, well, everyone else gets 3 chances, you get 2. You're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the fucking shit I copped from grandparents. You fired your own son.
It's not like you cut him out, didn't cut him out of the will or anything, did you?
No. No, I love him.
You mean like your shit will be on the front lawn when you get home?
No, he still gets to live in the house.
Okay, it's fair enough. I mean, look, I'm not here to pass judgment on your parenting, mate. It's fine.
So, no. Me and Ben have a great relationship.
Yeah.
So, to the point then, he then, when he goes, oh, actually, I might, go for a job there, Dad, after I think I'd sold it. I don't think he worked there when I still had it.
Was he like, will you give me a reference? And you were like, I'm afraid I can't.
Yeah. But I've had glowing reports from the owners, like, oh, he's great. And now he's like a 2IC down there and shit like that. But it works well with what he's studying at uni. He's got the time to go and do his law degree and then fucking do this sort of stuff. So, but I hope he continues through the law degree because that'll come in handy later.
Actually, I'll get his number. That I could use someone on a retainer. This shit's gonna hit the fan anytime for me. Yeah. Did the Season in the Pit Heavy Metal Recipe album ever see the light of day?
What was that one? Oh, fuck. Yeah. No, we wrote a bunch of... Oh, that was from the Andy podcast.
That's basically my research on
just listen to Andy shit.
Andy.
Yeah, I love Andy.
Good podcast.
Yeah.
Shout out Andy Social Podcast. Give it a shout out.
Yeah,
really,
man.
Really good.
Fuck, I've known that. Jeez, I've had some pissy nights with him.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. We wrote a bunch of songs, and the whole idea was that the album would be a cookbook. Yeah,
well, it's such a good concept. Let's cook track 3 tonight.
I
love that.
Well, maybe we should revisit it, actually.
Yeah. And they all had pun names and stuff.
Absolutely.
Sort of winding up a little bit, I think. I'll just hang on. Let me consult my notes. And see if I've missed anything here. Basically, sort of like to finish off by asking: what are your sort of hopes and dreams, I guess, for the future? Is there anything unrequited for you? Can you see yourself? Is there any vision for the future?
No. I mean, as far as vision, I mean, I think as you know, you come into your 50s and stuff like that, and I know I still behave like a fucking 21-year-old sailor on shore leave sometimes, as last week will testify. But I think it's not the Golden Girls over here. I'm not retiring anytime soon. But
I'm not taking to the top of the mountain yet.
No, but I don't think I have any desire to be. I say this all the time, like, I'll do this for another 5 or 6 years, and then we can just fucking go and head off into the sunset and travel the world, and we can retire and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But I say that. But me and my wife both love what we do, respectively.
Yeah.
And she just laughs at me. She goes, as long as you're breathing and you've got a laptop, she goes, you're going to be trying to book bands.
Yeah.
She goes, you and Dave both, type thing. So we do look at it. And we look at some of the bands we've worked with and, maybe they won't be doing stuff, anytime in 10 years' time and stuff like that. But that's where touring younger bands and newer bands and that comes into it and stuff like that. But I don't feel I've got anything else to achieve or prove. But in the same breath, if something exciting pops up, and it's like, oh, fuck, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Then I'll get involved. I'll do it. But I'm very happy with my lot in life and very happy with what we do. I know that what we do has made a lot of people very happy.
Yes, it has.
Present
company in particular.
It took me, and I'm glad for that. I really am, without sounding corny or anything.
No,
it took me a long time. I would never have realised that if people hadn't stopped us outside shows and said such, which has happened, and I've had to go, oh, what do you mean? And one guy stopped us in Melbourne one day. He goes, oh, man, the amount of times I've been like, I had a down moment in my life, and if you guys hadn't bought this particular band out, which is a band you guys have done for so long, that show, without getting too dark, made me not go home and do something stupid. And I was like, fuck.
Yep.
I said, no, it's just a job. And he goes, well, it's not to some of us, what you do is fucking quite special. And I was like, oh, okay, well, because I always have in my head, oh, if it wasn't me, someone else would do it, like type thing. But the fact is, it's not someone else doing it. It is us doing it. It is us.
Nobody else was doing it.
No, nobody else was. So it's, that's quite rewarding, like to go, oh, it has been a career of putting smiles on people's faces. But I used to treat the restaurant the same way, like, oh, that's fucking cool. Someone gets a good belly full of good food and walks out going, fuck yeah, that was great. And gets in their car and fucking puts on Slayer and drives off. It's not a bad couple of hours. But no, I don't think there's anything else. And I'm not chasing anything. I mean, you're always chasing tours and that, like we started out with this conversation. But no, I just enjoy what I do. I don't have anything to prove to anyone.
Lifestyle-wise for you.
Yep. Yeah, it's very cool. And I'm one of those people too that if if something went wrong and went into a screaming heap, I've no problem going and getting a fucking forklift license and going, I'm going to go FIFO for the next fucking 8 years if I have to.
Yeah.
That doesn't fucking bother me. I don't want to have to do that, but if I had to, well, it's been a fucking good run.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I know that I've jammed fucking 3 lifetimes into the last 25 years. So
What else can you ask for?
Yeah.
I think obviously if you're making a positive impact, and genuinely you are, I really believe that. Like I said, we were talking before about Perth as part of the touring scene. Obviously people in Perth who are listening or watching this know what that's like, but we are the most isolated capital city in the world.
Yeah.
We love to tell everybody that in the first sentence when we meet them. And so we're very aware of our geographical location and the challenges that brings, being music lovers that like this sort of stuff. And it's filled a massive void for us over time. It feels like more was taken off the table over the years, and you guys have started. You've been busy putting things back on the table for us, really.
Yeah.
So it is genuinely appreciated. I can promise you that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And just as an example, I was buzzing for 2 weeks after Froth and Fury, stuff like that. So
that's great.
It is making a positive impact, which must be nice. I should get a job that does something like that.
Yeah, well, it's it's hard, but it's it is what it is. And I mean, we, all the jokes aside about Perth, I want shows to happen in Perth. Like, I can't stress that enough. For the band Winter Sun springs to mind. Like, I wanted to see Winter Sun, but I remember, like, at that time I had stuff to do here, but we had 3 shows on the East Coast, and I actually couldn't get over for the shows. I'm like, no one was more disappointed about that than me. I was paying for it. So,
Fair call.
Yeah, there's that angle, but it's never like we don't want to do shows in Perth. It either comes down to it's not financially viable, or the act doesn't want to do it. It's never a spite thing. There's never anything nefarious about it. It's just
it's got to be viable.
It's just they're the only 2 factors involved in it. So, we take Gayaria recently. That one we're taking a punt. So it's going okay. It could go better compared to the other shows.
I'll get my ticket this weekend.
So
you got yours?
But have you guys listened to that new album?
Yeah,
it's fucking insane.
Yeah,
it's great. Again, it's a metal album, but there's moments of like, fuck, what's that?
Yeah, that's what I like.
Type things. So I think between that and the new Neurosis, they've been if I go for like a walk down through the park,
nice.
Whatever, they're the 2 albums I'm kind of listening to. So
that's the thing. The bands that like Neurosis, I mean, they're going for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, there's hopefully there's hope in the future that the younger bands will continue for that long and sustain us with good material for years to come. Yeah. And that these veterans might still be plugging away as well.
Yeah.
Just as an actually thought bubble, has it made much difference the fact that bands need to tour more to be more financially viable? Like, they've had income streams taken away from them, and touring is one of the main replacements for that, isn't it? Is that
and as you'll hear heaps of bands say, merchandise is the massive thing for especially for all bands, but especially for heavy bands nowadays. Like you'll hear them refer to themselves as touring clothing stores and stuff like that, which geez, I've seen some of the fees we've paid bands, and that's not necessarily true. Yeah. But then I've seen some bands that are coming out and trying to break, that come out on very reasonable offers, and you can see what they're trying to do there. Yeah. So, I don't know. There's not a lot of people that can live off of touring as a musician. Like, it's got to escalate quite quickly for them to be able to do it. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's got to be a hard way to make a living.
Then you've got agents and managers all taking their percentages and crew and all that sort of stuff. All the things that are so much needed to keep that thing rolling. Yeah. But but good managers and agents will keep that at the forefront of their mind with these younger bands, and their aim is to try and escalate their careers as quickly as possible, so that they can live off it and tour more and all that sort of stuff. But picking and choosing when to tour and all, I don't think it's on cycle. I don't think means as much as it used to.
Yeah, because the albums aren't the same.
I think the nostalgia bands, like Jeff Walker would hate me saying that, like Carcass.
Shots fired.
But Carcass can come out. without having a new album out, and people will still go, well, a Carcass show fucking
Yeah,
rips.
right, yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know, actually we've just done another deal with them and the support band. It's a fucking very good package.
Okay,
so,
interesting.
Yeah, so
right.
that'll come out soon.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
so it's, I don't know. I just think, I think we're just lucky. The more we get to have all these different bands, right? And there's got to be more bands and more people in bands now than ever.
Yes, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if they're not podcasting.
Yeah, if they're not podcasting, they're in bands or both. Yeah.
The untalented ones podcast, the talented ones.
Yeah, or building websites or fucking whatever. So
and also the other trend that I've noticed, which I've enjoyed as well, is the album anniversary tours become a real thing of late as well. Over the last few years. So it's like, it's 30 years since we released this album. It's 20 years since we released this album.
Yeah.
And they play it in full. It gives them a really good excuse to go around every couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm not against that at all. You know, I've got some of my favourite shows of the last few years have been like, you know, whatever band playing anniversary show.
Yeah.
And they play the album in full.
Yeah, I think my favourite one we've done of that was when we did the obituary, the Cause of Death one. That was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I pitched it to Carcass and Walker was just like, we're not doing that fucking shit. Which makes me love him even more.
Well, I mean, he's in a position where he probably doesn't have to
he's
either,
like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, because I'm sure some bands are like, man, we need a gimmick to get us out there. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, next year's the 15th anniversary of of our second release or whatever.
12 and a half.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for your time, mate.
Thank
You're
you very
a busy
much
man.
for
I
having me,
really
guys.
appreciate you making
that.
time for us. Really interesting chat. Hopefully we've enlightened some people and had a bit of fun. So
Yeah, definitely a bit of fun.
Yeah, really, really appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. Cheers.
That was episode 4 of the Invisible Ink podcast, our chat with Brad from Soundworks Touring. I hope you enjoyed that peek behind the curtain of what it takes to be a promoter for extreme metal in particular in Perth and Australia more broadly. I certainly had a really good time having a chat with Brad. Thanks again to Brad for his time. Really appreciate it. This is where I ask you, if you haven't already, to give us a follow on the social media, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And you can reach us at theinvisibleInkContact@gmail.com if you have nice things to say to us. Next time, coming up, we have the guest Rick Vanderveld, who's a sound engineer with literally decades of experience, a huge list, massive resume of people he's worked with. We have a really, really interesting chat with Rick. Join us to listen in about his life. And this is where we'll give a shout out to the man Jake at Doomstone Productions for all his work on recording, editing, and producing these episodes. If you have any work in the audiovisual areas that you're looking for, hit up Jake at Doomstone Productions. He's a good egg. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.